Hello everyone, I'm Anubhuti. I'm in first year from BMS College of Engineering, Bengaluru. Today we have Mayuri and Pranitha with us who will assist you with all the important questions and clarify all the doubts that you have about Atlassian WIT. I'll be your host and I'll take up questions from the chat box. So feel free to ask anything and everything you have about WIT, the hiring process, to what the eligibility is, and everything. We'll talk about with the beginning of their brief introduction. Over to you, Pranita.
Hi everyone, thanks for calling me for the session. Let me start by introducing myself. I am Pranitha Sridhar, a final year student from IIT Dhanbad, pursuing BTech in Electrical Engineering. I'm a mentor here at Coders Cafe for the past 1 year, guiding 15 mentees currently. I'm a recipient of Google's Solve.Code program. I've done my internship in Atlassian and Amazon this summer, and I got this opportunity at Atlassian through this WIT hiring event conducted by GirlScript and Atlassian. Thanks to that, I got an internship offer and right now a PPO offer as well. I'm here to share my experience and to explain about how my interview process went. Over to you, Mayuri.
Thanks, Anubhuti. Thanks, Pranita. Hey, everyone. First of all, thanks to Codes Cafe for calling me here and for this session. And thank you, my very amazing viewers, for turning up this lazy Sunday. So, a quick intro about myself. I am Mayuri, currently a fourth year computer science undergrad at NIT Patna. And I have been a former Desis Accent Fellow for the year 2021. And I've got my summer internship at Atlassian through this GirlScript Feminine Tech hiring event. And I'm gonna join there as a full-time employee the next year. And I love problem solving, and I'm strongly inclined to painting as my hobby. So that's pretty much about it. Over to you.
Thank you. So we welcome you both of you. Today's agenda that we are going to talk about are the organizers, the eligibility, the timeline, the different technical rounds involved in the process, the M&V round, results and perks, and the preparation tips. At the end, as I said, we'll go with the FAQ round. You can also simultaneously drop questions in the chat box, which are not discussed. We'll take it up in the end. Over to you, Pranita.
So I'm sure most of you must have heard about Jira, Bitbucket, and Trello, especially after the pandemic. So Atlassian is the global software company that makes over a dozen of products like them, from coding and collaborating to just getting stuff done better and faster. It looks after everything. GirlScript Foundation has been working for the past 5 years and has impacted more than 1 million lives. From slums to working professionals, GirlScript has programs to help learners grow and start their career in tech. So these are the two organizers for this event.
So moving on, we'll discuss the eligibility criteria for this women in tech hiring event. So first of all, you should identify as women, and anyone who is in 2023 grad is eligible for internships. I mean for full-time offers, and the 2024 grads are eligible for internships. You should be either in CSE, ECE, electrical, IT, or mathematics branch, and your CGPA should be something above 7. Moving on to the timeline of this hiring event. Yeah, so the registration window remains open from 15th of September to 2nd October, and the online assessment is scheduled somewhere between 2nd to the 3rd week of October. And after the online assessment, those who are selected, they will receive invites for engagement sessions, which are somewhat tentatively approx the 3rd or 4th week of October. And then the interview rounds will start in somewhere about November, and mostly you'll be getting results on the same day itself.
So as Mayuri was telling that after registering we submit our CVs, and after some time we receive the online coding assessment test link. So after that we will have a coding round and a system design round. So here the system design round is only for FT, which is 2023 grads. Can you move to the next slide? Yeah. So online assessment, it basically has four different coding questions for like 90 minutes. And as we saw from earlier, testers, test, we saw that it mostly comes from DP and drafts. So it's better and it's more recommended to complete as many test cases of all the problems as possible within the time limit. Mayuri, can you
Okay, so
comment?
moving on to the coding. Yeah, sure, sure. So moving on to the coding interview, as far as we've seen the trends, there's mostly a single coding question, and you're like allowed to use your preferred ID, and you have to code the entire thing down and run it on the test cases that they provide you. Then they might also ask questions regarding projects and from theory parts, which totally depends on the interviewer. So basically, there will be questions from OOPS, DSA, DBMS, operating system, computer networks, and so on. Each round will typically last from about 45 to 60 minutes. You'll have to code the entire thing up and the other things like as your interviewer asks on. So this one round is common for both the internships as well as the full time. Moving on to the system design interview. Yeah, so this one is only for the full-time roles, that is the 2023 grads. This also lasts for about 45 to 60 minutes, and the question revolves around like you'll be given a use case, and like you'll have to think about the solution and then make the system scalable. You'll be mostly queried around the design, the architectural pattern, what all database models you will be using. They might also ask you to write a few SQL queries based on the APIs that you have designed, and then they might ask you stuffs related to scalability or load balancing, something like that. So I would recommend like there is a YouTube channel from Gaurav Sen, so you could go there and take reference from it.
So moving on, this is the final round called MNV round. This is for both interns as well as FE. So here basically they ask, how, they evaluate based on the values that you have, if it's like inclined towards the company's values or not, and your management and leadership skills. So the company basically have five core values, which is open company, no bullshit, build with heart and balance, don't fuck the customer, play as a team, be the change you seek. So I would recommend all of you guys to look into these all these five values and see whether you have some real life examples where you have showcased such values. So before the interview you have to go through them, because there are high chances that many of the people they get rejected in this round. So it's important that you look into all of the values. Can you move to the next slide? Yeah. So the basic tips for clearing this event is that practice as many problems as possible. It can be from lead code, from JFG, from the 50 love hour sheet, anything. So as as you keep on practicing more and more problems, you will be able to solve the problem in very less time with fewer ends, and that is a good point. And while evaluating the interview, will have a good impression on you, and then they'll ask you to code on your ID. So make sure you have the ID prepared and well in advance before the interview. And as in Mayuri's case, like for CSC students, don't ignore core subjects because there are high chances that you'll ask questions in OS, CN, DBMS, OOPS. And then it's recommended to give mock interview for each and every round in the process, be it coding round, system design, and MNV round. Because if you're prepared, there are questions that you won't even expect in the MNV round. So it's better if you're well prepared and you give mock interview with your seniors. And it's also recommended that you get your resume reviewed from your seniors or be the interns from last year's. And most importantly, you have to think out loud throughout the interview.
Okay, so coming on to the results and perks. So for the last time, the result was declared on the very same day when the interviews were conducted. And then coming to the stipend, it's definitely one of the top notch in the industry, both for internships and for full time hires. Then you have the option to work remotely, and then we have a great like work from home setup budget that is provided to us. Apart from that, we have reimbursements for ergonomics such as like keyboards and chairs and other things, and it is for both interns and the full time hires. And then we're provided a lot of goodies as well.
Thank you, Mayuri and Pranita. Now we'll take up with the FAQs. Firstly, we'll begin with what is Atlassian WIT.
So as you have seen that WIT is a hiring event by Atlassian conducted in partnership with GirlScript Foundation. So it is a diversity hiring drive for girls in pre-final and final year of the BTech or MTech that lets you grab a summer internship or a full-time offer from Atlassian.
Great. How to prepare for this internship and what is the difficulty level?
I would say that keep practicing questions on any coding platform, be it Lead Code or Code Forces or GFG, whatever. The online assessment comprises of 4 questions in 90 minutes of time. So I think speed is a very important factor. So giving contests well in advance might help you conquer this. Then interview questions are mostly based on lead code medium type. Focus on the basics first. And also I would say that do not ignore the theoretical aspects because they might ask you questions based on those. Then they would ask you to write the entire code on your favorite ID and run it at the end. So if you are someone who writes only functions, let's say as in GFG or lead code, so try practicing this well in advance so that you don't face issues on the D day. Also research on the company values and frame your answers in alignment with those set of values, which might increase your chance for getting up selected. So that's it from my side.
Great. That's a pretty holistic process. What specific details do they see in the CV or the resume?
So they'll basically check if you're eligible to apply for the WIT hiring event or not. They look into your branch, your GPA, and the year of graduation to see if you meet the criteria or not. So for the initial screening round, almost everyone who are eligible gets the test link for the coding round. For the interviews, make sure that your resume stands out and that you have good enough projects, achievements, position of responsibilities mentioned correctly in your resume. Add in any hackathons that you have participated or even the portfolio websites that you have built for yourself. However, add only things that you're confident in. Don't overclutter and make sure that you can answer the questions that are being asked that you mentioned in the resume.
Noted. So now, like, what are the specific benefits or let's say the perks?
So, as we've already discussed, the salary compensation at fresher level is one of the best here in the industry. You get a work from home budget, also applicable for interns. The internship stipend is about 1.3 lakhs per month, and the CTC is around 38 lakhs for a year. And the cumulative one amounts to some 80 lakhs, which includes all the RSUs. The work from home budget is near about 500 US dollars for interns and 1000 US dollars for the full time employees. And additionally, you get a reimbursement for the ergonomics. Besides, there are a lot of goodies, and you also get kudos from your team in the form of Amazon vouchers and so on.
Okay, Mayuri, let's not kill all the surprise and excitement here, and let's move on to the next
Yeah,
question.
That's super
sure.
interesting. So, what are the tips for the interview preparation?
Yeah, so as I mentioned before, try to give mock interviews for each and every round in the process, and try make sure that you know the time and space complexity of the approach that you mentioned and explain it clearly. So start from the brute force and then try to optimize your solution one by one, and then think out loud and discuss your approach well with the interviewer. And if they are satisfied with the approach, then start to code. Ask the necessary questions well before you code, because what happens is in my interview there were three questions that were necessary for to be asked, and once I'm done with all three, then only we move to the coding round. So make sure you look into all the edge cases and then focus on the values of the company while answering a question in the behavioral round, and then try practicing more questions for system design and discuss them with your peers well before, and be honest and confident throughout the interview, because even if you get panicked during the interview, just have a sip of water which will like calm you down. And then remember that the interviews are a two-way conversation between you and the interviewer, and they will guide you till you reach the optimal solution by giving you hints. Also one more thing is that do a dry run, like after you complete the coding, do a dry run of an example that they give or you yourself try and create one. So these are a few tips from my side.
That was very informative, Pranita. What type of work is assigned during the internship?
Okay, so you'll be assigned to any team, and the
Yeah,
work
maybe you can
assigned.
go first. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay. So you'll be assigned to any team, and the work assigned will vary correspondingly. My co-interns got a broad spectrum of tech stack and the work, ranging from front end to back end to ML to monitoring to hitting APIs and everything. I got to work on the front end part for the marketplace team. React, JavaScript, storybooks were the components that I was supposed to work on, and they were pretty new to me. But my mentor was very supportive and helpful. Not only my mentor, but the whole team was. They were pretty approachable, and you can reach out to anyone for any query. This is something which cannot be seen in majority of the top tech companies, which is unique at Atlassian.
Right, right. For me, it was based on this stack such as Python, Fast API, SQL Alchemy, Postgres, and React. However, the majority of the work that they do is based on Java, such as Spring Boot and all. But I would like to add on that do not get overwhelmed by the names and such jargons because you will be given appropriate time, resources, and guidance for the same.
Got it. Also, do you also get a PPO from this internship?
Yes, like both me and Mayuri got the PPO to return back as full-time employee next year after our graduation is done. So, after your internship, like you will be evaluated solely based on the work that you did and your manager's feedback. You'll be asked to present your work as a demo during the last week of your internship. Mayuri, do you like to add something?
Just an add-on. Yeah, yeah, sure. Just an add-on. One key tip for grabbing a PPO is that do not hesitate in asking questions. Be curious about the work that you do and give your best. Do not be afraid if things take time to get in place. Just give your best shot with confidence and optimism. And also, one tip that I would like to add is be punctual in the work that you have been assigned.
That's great. Congratulations to both of you. Now we'll move on to ask
Thank you.
that tell us about your experience that you had working with Atlassian.
As this is our first experience in corporate, Atlassian's work-life culture, the team, and the work, everything impressed us a lot. We were in awe about how the team works and how all the team members, be it like SD1, SD2, SD3, or even the product manager, are very approachable. So the core value of play as a team is taken seriously along with the other four values. All these values are implemented in each and every task or event that we take part in. Whenever you're stuck somewhere, don't hesitate to ask the folks. And one additional tip to the interns is that be in regular touch with your manager and arrange weekly meets with them, discussing your progress and the impact that you've created during the internship. So one more thing is that the work-life culture in Atlassian is very cool. Like we had many events, sessions, outings, virtual lunch treats, and casual team meets often. At the end of my internship, like my manager had asked me to add a creative touch during our farewell meeting, for which me and my co-intern made several memes about the team, by which everyone had a good laugh about.
That's so sounds very interesting. What advice would you give to students that is applying for this internship or even full-time roles?
I would say that practice a lot and stay confident. Build your resume and keep it shiny with projects, hackathons, any kind of extracurricular skills that you could add on, any voluntary experience, anything. Then sometimes it might be very overwhelming, like applying to an off campus drive where you find in tons of peers competing around. But do not lose your cool and do not self reject. No one is 100% fit for any kind of role. And we are all going to learn a lot in this process and we might get up like selected.
Makes sense. So, how can freshers begin to prepare for these internships?
I would suggest that it's always best to start early so that it gives you a lot of time to prepare and get your hands on whatever topics you are weak about. Keep practicing questions and giving contests regularly. The most important thing is to aim for consistency. And for people who are aiming for full time roles, I would suggest learning some basics of system design because this is a particular topic that is not mostly taught in colleges. So, understanding the concepts of scalability, yeah, yeah, sure. So, sub scalability and like load balancing design patterns, I would say that things will get better gradually when you practice them. And many of you, especially like the second and third year folks, might be appearing for an interview for the first time. So it's important that you're confident and comfortable enough to ace the round. Keep in touch with your seniors and ask them for arranging some mock interviews.
That's very informative, Mayuri. Now we'll go on the through the FAQs that is regarding the application forms. So, what to fill in for the updated mark sheet?
Pranita, I think you're on mute.
Yeah, am I audible now?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
sorry for
you
the
are.
disturbance.
Cool. Could you please repeat it once again?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I was saying that the PDF that contains the latest semester GPA that should be submitted while registering. And one thing to be noted is that MTech students should share their bachelor's final semester mark sheet as well as with their current mark sheet.
Got it. So, what should you do if your college hasn't provided you with an official ID card?
You can request the college for a bona fide certificate or submit the document that you got during admission. Make sure that it has your roll number, year of passing, and your branch.
Got it. What goes in the college authorities' email ID and the contact number?
So the college placement officers or the department's details can be given. Basically the TNP details should be given for that.
Got it. What else should you mention in the essay part of the form? That is, what gets you excited to participate in this event and similar questions?
Yeah. So here you have to mention, the opportunity provided by GirlScript and Atlassian. You can say how it interested you, like how interested you are in technology, and how you'll be able to showcase your skills and knowledge while doing the internship and job if you get it.
Got it. Now we'll
Yeah.
go on with the audience questions. Yeah. I'll take up the questions and we'll talk about it. Meanwhile, you can subscribe to the Codis Cafe for such more informational sessions. Also, Mayuri and Pranitha will provide the LinkedIn ID. If you have any further question, you can connect with them in the link provided in the description, as well as any other details like Pranitha has written about her experience on the medium that is also provided in the description list. You can go through that. We'll take up more questions now. So, Nishay says that can MSc CS students also apply for internship?
Um,
Well, we're not actually sure about that because it was not specifically mentioned in the form, but I think you should go for it. It might be the case, and like there's nothing to lose here.
Makes
like they
sense.
can apply and see. Yeah.
Yeah. Then
Yeah, exactly. You can try it out.
Rebecca says how to prepare for the system design round.
So
As I
as
have
Mayuri
already
has
mentioned, I think you can, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, even
You
continue,
can
Mayuri.
go and like watch Gaurav Sen's. Yeah, yeah, sure. You can go and watch out Gaurav Sen's videos, and in fact, there are other videos on YouTube. I think from Soumyajit Bhattacharya and Kirti Puswani also. They're very informative and helpful. And one thing again, I would like to add that even the interviewers say that they understand we are at a fresher role and they don't expect very heavy and complicated inputs from our side. It's good to know the basics and apply your common sense and give the answers.
Absolutely. Kushi asked that do they cover only DP graphs, not other topics? Just a rough guess.
No, this DPN graphs was what was mostly asked last year, so we can't guarantee that only these will be asked. But you have to have a idea, or deep understanding of all the topics for clearing the round. Hello.
Yeah, yeah, you're audible.
Yeah. So
Yeah, you're audible.
yeah, this was what happened the last year. And apart from this, even the trees and array strings are also important.
Got it. Ishika
Yeah, like you
asked,
should
can
brush
you
up kind of everything. Yeah, please go
Ishika
ahead.
asked that can you suggest a resource to practice questions from the topics, trees, and graphs, and what's the difficulty level of the questions?
So the difficulty level, as Mayuri was mentioning, that it's of medium level. So in the interviews, they mostly ask from maps and hashing. So it is better if you do a question if you practice questions from lead code. Even for trees and graphs, the same thing applies. As you can see that nowadays there are many lists coming like 450 love bubbers and strivers. You can also go through them and solve as many questions as possible. So
Ripaka,
mostly they will be, yeah, mostly they will be evaluating your problem solving skills. So even if you don't know, they'll be hinting, they'll give you hints, and they will help you to arrive at the optimal solution.
Ripaka, I think it's mentioned still. Can we expect question from computer networks as well?
I think yes, it totally depends on your interviewer. But if you are from a CS background, like your branch is CS or IT, and you're in the third year, like not third year, I'm not sure, but in the final year, of course, they can ask you questions from computer networks.
Great. Then Priyanshi asked that how many questions need to be done out of four to be called for the interviews?
So as you can see that there's like a lot of competition, like there'll be many registrations coming along the way. So it's better if you would be able to solve like all of them and covering majority of the test cases that are given. Then your the probability of you getting shortlisted for the interview will be increased.
Noted.
Right, just
Ishika,
give your best shot.
yeah. Ishika asked that does it give an edge to the applicants who are a part of the girl script in the application process, as they had asked in the form about it?
Um,
No, no, it's nothing like that. When I was selected, I was not a part of GirlScript.
and I
Maybe
think yeah, I don't think it affects much.
It
Tandrima
shouldn't.
asked that does everyone get the test link or only the limited people get?
People who are eligible for the the hiring event, they will get the test link. But this time, as there are tons of applicants, maybe they will look into their profiles and resumes. So it depends
Yeah.
on the number of registrations.
Tanuja asked that any idea regarding how many students grabbed internship or FTE role last year?
I think including everyone, like interns and FT for this process, there were a total of 35 or 36 applicants who got into, I think, around 15 interns as such. However, this time, since Atlassian is hiring very rigorously, the numbers might shoot up as well.
So this is an excellent opportunity for all of you guys to give your best shot and try your best to get into it.
Yeah.
Tandrima asked again that from where should we practice the QA and the level questions,
Mm,
I hope. Yeah.
okay, so the online assessment questions are kind of tougher than what you would expect in the interviews. But still, I think those are mostly based on DSA. Like, I think lead code should be good enough to go.
Yeah, I agree with
Would you
Mayuri.
like to add on, Pranita? Okay, cool.
We'll take Khushi's question. CS core subjects questions were asked orally, right? So,
Yes.
Right in the interview. Yeah.
And it also depends on the interviewer because few weren't asked any questions core subjects and few were. So it totally depends
Yeah.
on the interviewer.
Yeah, and it's good to brush up the skills. Like these are theoretical questions and won't take much of your time. But if you are able to answer the questions correctly, it would give a nice impact.
I think that's all from the audience. Any add-ons that Pranitha, Mayuri, you will like to have for us?
As I said that this was the opportunity that leveled up my profile, and working at Atlassian was very very great. It was a very great experience for me I think it's for Mayuri as well. And this event
True.
will
Like it
benefit
was
any girl.
something, yeah.
Yeah, you can continue.
Right, being a diversity hiring profile, it gives you an excellent opportunity to come up and showcase your skills and end up getting selected in one of the pioneer companies that we have in the IT sector. So I would suggest everyone to just give it a shot, go for it, and I wish all the very best to all of the applicants.
And I hope you guys also join us next time.
Yeah, we're really eager to meet you in the next year.
So I think
Thank you,
that's all the questions
Mayuri.
are.
Thank you, Pranitha. Yes, I guess that's it. Okay, I think Tanuja asked one more. She just need a suggestion regarding the resume format. She heard that single column resumes are ATS friendly than two column resumes. Any suggestion on that?
Um, like as I told before that the resumes they look into if you're eligible or not. So I don't think this matters. Just that you can ask your seniors or your friends to review it. I don't think the column size
Uh,
differs. It
yeah, the
matters.
column might not matter, but there's a small suggestion. Like you could go over onto Overleaf and create the resumes over there, which are comparatively more, like ATS friendly. Or the thing is that like it should not be cluttered or clumsy. Everything should appear very neat and to the point. And also,
And
as a fresher level, I think the resume should be limited to one page only.
yeah, and one more thing to get shortlisted, try to include all the achievements and whatever POR that you're there, so that it'll be highlighted and your profile can get selected.
Got it. I think Tanuja, they answer that what resume template you can suggest from Overleaf.
I have tried one from Overleaf that is, I think, by Anubhav or something. So you can try it out.
Ruchi asked that what's your username on Codis Discord so that they can connect with you for doubts or resume clarification.
Yeah, we
They'll
can
type,
share it with you, Ruchi. We'll put it
yeah,
in the
they'll type
comment
in the
section.
chat box. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, we'll do that.
I hope no other questions from the audience. Kushi, the LinkedIn IDs will be shared in the description. Yeah.
Feel free to connect whenever you guys have a doubt.
Yeah, sure.
That's super helpful, Mayuri, Pranita. I hope it was very informational for everyone. It was for me. Subscribe to Codis for such more informational sessions and connect with them for your doubts. I think that's it today for
Sure.
today.
Yeah. Thank you for having us. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
bye everyone.
Bye bye.
Bye.